Hello everyone. I'm Adrien Lauer from Groupe PSA. I'm here today to introduce SeedStack to you, which is a development framework, Java development framework. So it is located at seedstack.org if you want to have a look. But let's move on to the presentation. So what is SeedStack? So like I said, SeedStack is a modular Java framework which can be used to build REST microservices or classic web applications with UI and so on, or command line applications. So it is also a solution which comes with an architecture, a software architecture for your projects. So we believe we have a great software architecture that you can use without any pain and to have a great solution right out of the box. And it uses this domain-driven design for your business, to code your business. It is an extensible platform. You can write plugins for it to implement technologies specific to your company, or maybe to integrate another open source technology. So we have a lot of plugins already built in. And of course, it is open source. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. But it is under the Mozilla Public License 2. Okay, so at Groupe PSA, we use SeedStack since 2013. And we have about 100 projects that use it in various business domains like connected car, manufacturing, finance, R&D. And it is the reference software stack for any Java project we create from these days. Every Java project we do internally or other that are contracted to our key suppliers like Capgemini, Atos, and so on. So we minimally extend SeedStack internally because we have some specific security frameworks and some legacy frameworks we want to integrate it. So we wrote some plugins, but otherwise it's the same we use internally as the open source one I present you today. So how it is used? So it is a development framework, but we provide a generator for you to start quickly. So each project is composed of one or more independent modules, and those modules are generated with the Maven plugin. So you can generate, we have templates for REST microservices, for command line programs, batch jobs, and so on, and reusable business domains, which you build as a library you can use in your company for every project if you want. And each module follows the same reference software architecture. And doing so, it provides an organization-wide consistency. You have the same project architecture for every project in your enterprise. So it can be good to move people from one to another, and it's quite useful to do support and so on. So we also provide packaging. So we provide production-ready packaging of SeedStack application directly with the plugin. So the main features of the framework are classical features, development features, but we have some particular technologies that can be interesting. We handle things like configuration, logging, transactions, validation, and so on in the core module. So it's a base for everything. But we use Google Juice for dependency injection. So we have a strongly typed dependency injection. We don't use a Spring inside this framework. It's completely not based on Spring. And for security, we use Apache Shiro. We have on the website of things, we have an Undertow embedded server and Jersey 2 for REST APIs. We have support for hypermedia and WebSockets if you need. And we have a lot of extensions that we developed over the years, like the business framework, which is the subject of this presentation, the main subject. We will see that just after. And more than 30 add-ons for various technologies. And we provide some tooling, like a generator, a packager, and some development tools like live reloading of the application and so on. So as you can see in the lower left corner, I have displayed the 3 versions of this year. We provide 3 major versions of SeedStack per year, and we have some minor versions between them, but we have a fixed schedule of releasing in April, July, and November. So domain-driven design. So it's a main part of the framework. Although there are a lot of technologies and technologic add-ons. It's a domain-driven design that sets it apart from other frameworks. So it's a software approach which is focused on solving business problems, but with code, not with only with code and design. And so you have 2 parts of the domain-driven design method. You have the strategic design, which exists to address high-level organization considerations, like which domain I have in my company, how do they relate, and so on. And the tactical design, which we focus on in the framework, because it proposes practical patterns to write software. So you have patterns for creation, patterns for persistence, and so on. So it is implemented in the framework. So the framework will detect those patterns and will provide building blocks that you can use and extend to build your own business logic around these patterns. And we will automate the recurrent tasks that comes with a domain-driven design, like object mapping and so on. So to follow the tradition, I have some Hello World, but it is a quite sophisticated Hello World here because I want to show at least a service. So you can see here that you have a Java class, which is a REST resource exposed on /hello, and it will inject a service that you can see here with some juice dependency injection. The service is declared here. It could be in another file, but I have put everything in this place. This service is just an interface that you implement. You can have multiple implementations, and you inject it and use it like that. So that's the only code needed to have a REST resource exposed on /hello, which is injecting a web service and a domain-driven design service and so on. So it's the framework will detect that and automatically do the initialization, the configuration of every part that's needed to make it work. So by talking about the services, it's one of the patterns. So we have a lot of patterns implemented. Each one has its own use in the domain-driven design approach. So for modeling, we have entities, which you model your business object with. Object with an identity. You also have value object without identity, like an address, for instance, or a zip code. We have aggregate to use to group entities and value object into coherent aggregate and group. We have specifications to do some query or to do some matching of business object. And for the behavior part, we have the factories, the repositories, the services, the policies, and events patterns, which all can be used to implement some logic, some business logic. So for factory, you have the creation logic. For repositories, handle the persistence, and so on. So everything is based on interfaces and annotations. So you annotate some interface or class, and the framework will recognize it and do something with it. So for interfaces to the outside world of your business, we have assemblers, which encapsulate object mapping from the inner model to the outside world, and the paginator to do some quick pagination and things that are very often needed in business applications. So like I said before, the business framework implements patterns using annotations, interfaces, and base classes. You choose the level you want. Obviously, if you extend base classes, you are more coupled to the framework than only using annotations, but you also benefit from more automation and quicker development. So patterns are strongly typed. We use generics for that. So they can be automatically detected, and they can be injected everywhere, anywhere you want them, like in a REST resource we saw before. So you can see here some injection. Like here we inject a repository of customers. This one is qualified with in-memory, so we have just a map in memory of customers, but we can qualify it with GPA if you have some relational database containing customers, or MongoDB, or so on. So it depends on the add-ons you use and where you want to put your customers. So we have the same for factories and some services and so on. You can see we always inject things by type and use them directly anywhere we want. So we also provide automation for boilerplate code, like pagination, translation of specifications into database queries, because we want to match maybe VIP customers, and VIP customers, to fetch them, we have to make a specific query for the database, but the framework can do that automatically. And we have some object mapping strategies, so we can map automatically domain objects to DTO and so on. So I have an example here that brings this all together, but it may be quite complex, especially if you don't understand Java. But you can see here that we have some domain-specific language to do that. You can see here that we assemble a page with some parameters, a page of customers which are matching a specification, a VIP customer spec, with some parameter, and we provide a page of DTO of that. So that does everything in a one-liner, but you can also split them and use each one like you need in your business application. So that's a part of what the business framework can do in SeedStack. So it can do that with every technology you want. You just have to use the right add-on to integrate your preferred database or anything you want. So I would like to give you a quick demo, if I can. So let's go to the website. So we have here the command line to generate a project. So I have run the generator, and I can choose which type of project I want. So I will generate a web project, and I won't use any integration of persistence, no UI and no Docker. So I have here a project that is generated. I can open it in my development environment quickly. I think it's not here. It's in my projects. Temp. Yes, here. Okay. So let it import the project. So you can see here that we have a basic structure of a Maven project, and with some Hello World resource. I can show you there. We have a standard structure that is shared by all projects, and we have just a basic Hello World. For this, it is really basic. So from there, you can write classes like we saw before. You can integrate add-ons just by adding their dependency in the Maven POM file. You can see here that we use a business framework. We add some add-on to do automatic mapping and so on. You just add them, and they are automatically working directly. So I can run that from the command line with the SeedStack plugin. I just do run, and it will run my application. I can switch to watch mode to have it reload automatically, and from there you have a basic Hello World. And major projects at PSA are built with this framework. From this small Hello World start to a huge project with thousands and thousands of lines. So they all use the domain-driven design approach, and they build on SeedStack to make project, Java project at PSA. So thank you for listening. If you have any question, I'm available just after this presentation. To remind you that SeedStack is an open source project under the MPL license, so it's business friendly. You can use it for your own project without being afraid of license problems, and you can use it and contribute to it if you feel like it. So thank you, everyone.